let us over trap beats to fix it, saying, ooh. DJ Focus, tell him turn you up, ooh. DJ Focus, tell him turn you up, ooh.
And we back. DJ Focus, Dice Gamble. You tap back into the Fixx, your source of faith-infused hip-hop, R&B, and poetry. It's time for our spiritual detox. And come on, Dice. You know we got one of our favorites. This is family on today. When I tell you, listen, I ain't going to hold y'all. I know it's a lot of new up-and-coming Christian R&B male singers, but let's be very clear. Outside of Ken Jones, ain't nobody going to say nobody next but the person we got on right now. And that's just respect to K-Joe for all the years he did it. But it's somebody new that's kind of taking K-Joe. I know if you listen, it ain't personal, but he kind of taking the world by storm, and he doing it the right way. Our brother, listen, Billboard, gospel Billboard charting artist. He got so many awards, so many accolades. He produces, he writes, he sings, he raps if he wants to. He can do whatever he wants. It's Jor'Dan Armstrong. What's going on, bro?
Hey, listen, man, I got to send you your Cash App because I paid you to say it like that. But no, bro, first of all, it's an honor to be here. Second of all, shout out to K-Joe, man. You know, he's definitely one of the first to do it in this way. You know, I remember when I first saw and heard his music, I mean, I was so inspired because I was trying to find my space. You know, I grew up as a church boy, born and raised church boy, sung in church, sung all of the great covers by, you know, from Donald Lawrence to, you know, Marvin Sapp to Richard Smallwood. I grew up singing those records. And when I got to about the age of, I would say about 13 or 12, I was trying to find my way. I was like, man, I was at a crossroad to where the gospel music that I was singing in the choir and the youth choir that I loved growing up wasn't doing it for me anymore. And then I was hearing Jodeci and Boyz II Men at my older cousin's house, and I'm hearing No Limit Records. I'm hearing like I'm all of these sounds, and so you know I was really trying to find my space, and I heard I'ma stay safe.
Come on now.
Stop nothing. I'ma stay safe. Oh, and I heard that I was oh my God, this is it. And so you know, big shout out to K-Joe. He was a heavy influence, man, and it's so cool because I spoke with him a few years ago when I got my first #1 for My God, and he was telling me how proud and happy he was, and he was just saying like that's exactly the type of impact that he was trying to do, you know, and trying to make. And when he told me that, man, it almost kind of brought me to tears because people like him and I, and you know, other artists that are doing this sound now, you know, we don't usually get that type of accomplishment, you know. And so I'm really grateful to God, man, that he's opened those doors, man. But it's been a long time coming, bro. They didn't want to hear the music I was making back then, especially not on radio, not on mainstream radio, not real radio. So it's a blessing, man. God's been good.
Listen, stay right there though. Talk about that, you breaking on mainstream radio, because I agree with you. You know, My God, and then we know the success with Call with featuring Erica Campbell. Talk about that because it's crossed over. It ain't just gospel radio. That thing that went over to the regular R&B FM dial.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's just a blessing, you know. And even the full circle moment with Erica. You know, I can remember listening and wanting to create music like they were doing, or just be impactful like they were. I remember listening to their first album, and I was trying to, and I'm a producer, a songwriter at heart. So I'm looking at the credits. This is back when you open the CD. I go to the Christian bookstore, get the CD. And back then they used to, and I'm telling my age, but back then they used to let you test out the CD. You used to listen to it a little bit before you buy it.
Right.
So I would go up to the machines, man, and I would play the CD, and I'm reading the credits, man. I wanted to know who was writing, who was producing, and who these girls were. And that really kind of changed my whole perspective also on their approach. You know, they were making music, and I mean, Left Eye and, you know, different rappers and mainstream people were really into what they were doing. And so I always said I wanted to work with her, and it was such a great opportunity that I got the chance to do that with the record Call, and also Erica's first #1 record. Can you believe that? It was with
Really?
yeah.
Wow.
So, you know, of course, Mary, you know, they had They got some hit. They had some number one records, but that was her first number one record on her own, and it was just all God, man. So grateful that I had that opportunity because I wrote the song, I produced the song, and I really just shot my shot. Erica already kind of knew about me because she had a radio show and she knew the success of my God, and from there, man, I just literally, like I said, shot my shot, and she was like, if you come to LA, we could see about making it happen. Look, soon as she said that, I booked the flight. I said, let's go. We got to go do it. And she showed up and she literally killed it, man. She let me basically record her. I sat in front of the computer. I engineered the session. It was just me, her, and the kids. And it was so crazy because she was literally singing everything I told her. She was like, so what should I do here? And I was like, you want to know what I think you should do there? And I was just telling her, and she was literally singing everything that I said. And so it was really cool because I was actually a little nervous because I look up to her husband, super producer Warren Campbell, very much. And so I was actually kind of nervous that he may even come to the session. And honestly, when he didn't come, I was so happy because I was like, okay, now I can do my thing. I don't feel like, I wasn't nervous at all, man. And we executed and that thing shot up to the top of the charts, man. And so, it's just a blessing because like I said, I can remember when radio wasn't really going after the sound. And, there was a quote unquote sound of gospel music. And even back then I was trying to preach this message of, the gospel music is the message and not quote unquote the way it sounds all the time. But thankful for people like you guys, man, who kind of carry a torch and kind of really open and broaden the narrowness that sometimes is in gospel music. People like you guys, people like Willie Moore Jr., he gets it. He's from the neighborhood. So, he was rooting for us, in some of those meetings. And, Dwight Stone and, Darlene McCoy, my sister, like these are all people who are in these positions now, like you guys, and are able to kind of pull some strings for us to get us in, get us on the stage. And I think that is so good because, like I said, it started back with the K-Joe, it started back with Mary, started back even with Kurt Franklin. And if we go even further back, Men of Standard, the Winans, Commission, these guys were doing sounds and creating sounds for gospel music that was so mainstream. And, they inspired me, man. BB and CC, they did it. And so I come from that era. So you did say something about the young kids now. The young kids are killing it too. They killing it. You know what I'm saying? They running. They got numbers. They're doing amazing things as far as streaming, man. But I'm just a little bit old school, man. I'm really about, trying to create something that's impactful and something that would last. I listen to old gospel music now. I feel like Fred Hammond got some hits.
Man.
Kurt Franklin got hits.
Yes.
Donald Lawrence have hits. These are songs that I can play right now and they still make me feel good. And that's what I strive to do. And also inspire the next generation. So
I love it. Listen, inspire is what you do. What
Thank
you
you.
do, I don't even know if you understand what you do yet. I mean, we get the benefits of it,
Yeah.
but have you really had any challenge trying to explain what you do to people if they've never heard it before, or they're
Yeah.
like, what is that? Like how do you actually overcome that, or what does that conversation sound like?
Man, it's been the entire time. It's been my entire career. I'm still explaining today. And I started my first single came out, and you guys probably know. Well, you guys might know about it, but the world had no idea who I was or what that song was. But it was in 2008, and it was a song called "Drive Me Crazy." And ever since, I would say 2008 till what's today's date?
2024.
Today is the day. I'm
Right.
still trying to explain to people and get the message across that I'm trying to portray and who I'm actually speaking to. There are challenges with that. But I think too, I have tough skin when it comes to this. I really, really, really believe that God has given me a message and nothing can really waver that. Not a misunderstanding about who I am or who I'm talking to, because that's kind of the big thing now. Especially now, that's one of the challenges too, when you go into mainstream radio, or you're even going into gospel radio, or you've even made it to top 10 on the charts or top 25. Now people are like, well, who is he talking to? Is this song really about God? And I'm like, one of my biggest things is that, why on earth would people think I'm trying to trick folk? I have no reason to trick anyone into thinking that I'm talking about God, but I'm talking about someone else, maybe a woman or another situation. I would just go sing R&B music and do that.
There we go.
I would just go over there and talk to women. I would go talk to my wife. You know what I'm saying? And so I think that even through the misunderstandings, and sometimes the message can get cloudy to people, we're really reaching people. At the end of the day, some stations that wouldn't play the record, I mean, we still have succeeded in radio. People's lives are still being changed. We're still inspiring the next generation. Souls are being saved. And honestly, that's really why I do this. The accolades and the great things that are happening are really great. Of course, we love to be honored. We love to be recognized. But I mean, I've been doing this for over 10 years. And honestly, I'm just starting to get recognized. So people are just really figuring out who I am and putting a face to the music. And so if it was all about that, man, I would have switched over to R&B and did some rap and did some stuff a long time ago. But my real message is about Jesus Christ, and I want to see people's lives change, and I want to see people deliver and know who Jesus is.
That's good.
Jor'Dan, why do you think the church, that was really good. Thanks for sharing that. Why do you think the church is scared of the music that you make when you talk about the Christian R&B? Because listen, I just want to salute you. I've seen the journey. I remember, at least for me, the first hit I knew when I knew you were like special. You did a song, a collaboration with D1. I'm Down.
Okay.
Like when I heard that, I say, oh no, he different. He different.
Thank you.
So why do you think the church is running away from real music? Because all I think you do is you make real music. You tell real stories. You tell real testimonies of maybe stuff we're struggling with, we're going through. Or so sometimes you even ask questions. I love you because you'll ask a question in the song and you make it sound cool.
I would, man.
So why are we running away from that? Yeah.
I think a lot of times people are afraid of things that they don't understand. And especially the generation before us and generations beyond that. When we don't have an understanding about something, we're afraid. I'll use an example of myself with flying. I have to fly in the business that I do, but I could not stand flying. I couldn't stand turbulence. Every time I got on a plane, I thought we were going to go down. Every time we get a little rocky bump, I'm like, oh my God, I'm about to lose it. And I'm so afraid to fly. And I started to gain knowledge, and I said, maybe I should just read about planes, read about how planes work. Let me find out. And then I started getting statistics saying about how, people die. Plane crashes are way less than car crashes. And I'm like, I drive a car every day. I started learning about flights and learning about planes, and it really kind of helped me understand. So now when we're going through turbulence, I can remember some things that I learned about flying, and that kind of helps me understand. Even with dating my wife, I remember when I was first started dating her, there were some things and some ways that my wife was, and I love my wife to death, y'all. There's some ways, and I didn't understand. I was like, why is my wife like what? She's my girl. Then I was like, why my girl like that? Like, and I went around, I met her family. I said, oh, that's why.
That's it.
Now I have understanding. Now I have compassion for my wife. Now I understand why you're this way. I know about you. And so I think that if the church would start actually listening to the lyrics and actually seeing the impact, and actually even getting to know me or meeting me or asking me the questions, I think they will get a little bit more understanding. I love the fact that when I'm booked at a church, or if I'm at a church and I'm ministering, I want to talk to the pastor. I want him to know who I am. I want him to hear my heart for the ministry, not just the cool guy with the cool songs with the number one and, making trendy sounding music. Like, I really want him to hear my heart. And I think that when you're making music like me, you got to go on a campaign. You have to go on a campaign because this is new. And it may not be new to me and, to the Fixx, you know what I'm saying? But it's new to so many people. And a lot of times they don't understand, so they're afraid. And so, I have to have the patience to explain myself. I have to have the patience to explain the lyrics. Sometimes when I'm performing, I don't even sing them. I say them this time. I'll say that chorus. So you'll know what I'm saying, and that's really important to me. And it also helped me with recording. So now when I'm creating songs, I make sure that you can hear what I'm saying in the song. Like, on the other side of this is a blessing. I want you to know that there's a message in that. I want you to know that. Hold up, wait a second. Let me brag on my God. I want you to know what I'm saying, because I remember at a time when I was writing songs, I used to write stuff that just felt good. I was like, oh, this feels good, and it's about God, so that'll work. That's cool. You know what I mean? Like, it's all good, and everybody's gonna understand it, but everybody won't. And so it's kind of helped me even mold the way that I create music. So I'm not upset that I have to explain still. It's actually a blessing because it helps me reach more people when I have to explain. And I love the fact when I got a grandma or the church mother that come to me after service and say, I like that song. Now that's the one right
That's
there.
the one.
Brag on my
That's
God.
the
And see,
one.
now I'm like,
Right.
I'm good now.
Right.
I'm good. Yeah. So that's where I'm at with that.
Listen, DJ Focus, Dice Gamble. We got Jor'Dan Armstrong on. Don't touch that dial. We're going to a break. We'll be right back with more. You're tapped into the Fixx.
And the Fixx is in.
Only Culture Radio. We're not just background noise. We play the music that inspires you, because every song has a story. Christian hip hop and R&B music and talk on Siriusxm channel 154, 24 hours a day. Holy Culture Radio is changing the game. Discussions about faith, arts, vocation, and education. We talk about the real issues that affect our communities and work together to find solutions. Join the discussion at holyculture.net and be heard.
Yes, sir. You tap back into the Fixx, your source of faith-infused hip-hop, R&B, and poetry. Still in the middle of this great conversation with Jor'Dan Armstrong. And we Dice?
Yeah, listen, he's been dropping some gems on us. I am loving the conversation. It's an honor to have him here each and every time he shows up for us. But listen, we were talking a moment ago, and you had, mentioned something about your wife. And I'm pro-wives. I love it when people get married.
Yeah.
But this is my question here. What has God really shown you about women that you did not see before? And I'm talking about like whatever it is that maybe we need or just, you know what I'm saying? Like, how has God kind of revealed to you, that role that women play and the necessity of them? Yeah.
I really understand now what unconditional love is. I also believe that a woman needs and deserves unconditional love. And the Bible also says, love your wife like Christ loved the church. And when we say Christ, when he says Christ loves the church, he's talking about how much he loves you, how much he forgives you, how much, no matter when you got an attitude today, you woke up on the wrong side today, you're mad about everything, you're just having a terrible day and you're doing people ugly, and God still loves you and forgives you. I've learned a lot of that through marriage. And not to say that my marriage has been so crazy that I got to forgive every day and those things, but that when it's marriage, it's you got to work it out. Like if you're committed, you have to work it out. You have to talk about it. And I come from a generation, I come from a culture of Black men, and we don't like to talk about nothing. We don't want to talk about it. No, I don't want to talk about that. And why do we keep talking about it? We already talked about it once. Why we keep on talking about it? And so, I've learned so much that communication is actually key. And you know what? The devil has been trying to keep me from communicating all of my life. I didn't even know that. because now I realize when I communicate, things become so much better afterwards. Like I'm like, wow, it actually felt good getting that out. I grew up with my grandfather, was raised by my grandparents, my mom, and so all of the men in my life were old school men. They don't talk about nothing. They say what they say go. They work all day. They come home and they want a hot meal, and they kick their feet up. They don't wash dishes. They don't clean up. They don't do nothing. This is where I come from. So this is what I saw. And so, I had a lot of learning to do, and I'm so grateful for marriage and also who I chose, because it really mattered. I always knew I wanted to be married once. I come from a long line of family members, and they divorced, married, and just that's what I come from. It's in my blood. And I wanted to destroy that. And so I wanted to get married, and I wanted to get married once. So I knew I had to make the perfect choice.
Yeah.
And I'm so grateful for the decision that I made, because my wife is not only my best friend, and I know people say that, that's a cool thing to say, oh, this is my dog, this is my best friend, like whatever. But like, we were really best friends first before we even dated.
Wow.
I didn't even know I was going to date her. I didn't even know she would be my wife. And honestly, if I knew she was going to be my wife, I probably wouldn't have told her all the stuff I told her when we was friends. Like I would.
She set you up. She
Oh
set
yeah,
you up.
yeah. I had no idea I was talking to my future wife. I wouldn't have told her half of the stuff that she knows. Straight up. So that's how close we were. And I'm just grateful, because I also knew, and the older that I got, and I also got married, I feel later in age. And I was wiser. I thought my wife was gonna look like a way that I thought. Like I'm like, oh yeah, that's what a wife looks like. And I learned a lot. I learned about what a wife is, and I learned about partnership. I learned about a companion. I learned about a helpmate. I learned a lot through marriage, and we're going on 7 years now. And
Congratulations.
I mean, we're learning every year. And honestly, I'm also learning that the woman that I married 7 years ago is not the same woman today. And neither am I. I'm 7 years older. I don't even think the same that I thought then. Neither does my wife. And I think that growing together is something that I learned too, which is so important. So I know this ain't a marriage interview, but I can talk about that all day, because I've learned so much about myself, and also so much about my wife, and so much about a team, especially with a new baby.
Oh, yes.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Man.
And listen, it's okay, because we need to hear more conversations of real testimonies of how marriages can work, and how you have to put the work in. So that leads us into this project. Come on, you didn't put this deluxe edition out. Church Girls Love R&B, the deluxe girls trip. So let me back up. For some who may be just tapping in and don't even know about this whole movement.
Right.
First of all, talk about the boldness when you first put out the first installment of this Church Girls Love R&B music. You went on the tour, and shouts out to you. You wasn't really trying to go into church. You say, no, I want the ambiance to be a nice little winery, little club situation. I want y'all to come out and have a little time. I want the romance back in marriages. So talk about that first.
Yeah, man. I actually wanted to meet people where they were. I think that's something that Jesus did on his 33 years walking on this earth. He met people where they were. And honestly, to be honest with you, and some people are way more comfortable in a club than they are at church. And sometimes that's sad to even say, but a lot of times there's more freedom there. The people feel more free. And so, I love the fact that we were able to do that, and, meet people there, and there was no judgment. There was no any of that. And I was able to reach people with the message that God had given me in those places. And it was a lot of people that were delivered, man.
Wow.
It's so crazy because
You do say. You do
oh,
say.
man.
Talk about that.
I
Talk
do
about this
say.
for a minute.
I do
So
say, and there was
good.
some do say.
So
So
y'all
good.
wasn't doing no
Say.
heathen stuff,
They
huh?
was, they was
Y'all wasn't doing no
living.
heathen stuff,
Right,
huh?
right,
Y'all
right,
wasn't doing
right.
no heathen
Man,
stuff.
can you believe it? Can you believe it, man? But no, man, like it was really cool because it was also my first time going out on my own, which I was very nervous about. I had gone on tours, plenty of tours with some greats, from my sister Kiera Shear to Jonathan McReynolds to
Yeah.
Mary to Kurt Franklin, you name it.
Yeah.
But going out on my own was something that I was always fearful of. First off, I ain't think nobody care about me like that. Second of all,
Wow.
I didn't want to be embarrassed booking these places and ain't nobody there. So every every
And that's real
night,
though.
man, I mean, it was just really a thing for me. And so my team was like, bro, we can really do this time. I think we can do it. Like, let's go out. Let's do it. The response for the record is doing really well. Church Girls Love R&B is doing awesome. Let's hit the road. And so we went out, and man, every night, God was just showing out, man. I mean, we literally sold out every city except for New York, man. New York gave us a hard time, man. Shout out to NYC, man. New York City, they were slim and far in between. I said, ooh, ain't nobody out here in New York City. They ain't giving Show Me No Love in New York. But it was probably half full. And but we rocked out, man. But Church Girls Love R&B, let me really just get on that because that's really what drew the people, I feel, to the tour. First of all, the slogan or the phrase "Church Girls Love R&B" I felt was something that was, first of all, a true statement, an absolute true statement. Even if I go back to my grandmother, my great grandmother, I'm talking about some of the churchiest church old ladies, the peppermint white stockings, hat, chapel
Yeah,
cap.
but let Motown come on. Let Motown
Right.
come on.
Let
Let Stevie come on. Let
come
Temptations
on.
come on.
They have their
Marvin
record.
Gaye, Marvin Gaye. Let
That's
Marvin Gaye get
right.
it on.
That's right. You know what I'm saying? And so, it's just a fact. And even if I use, this generation, I love to see how, how like Spotify does every year, they kind of show you who you've been listening to, your playlist, your top artists, all of that. And people are tagging me, to ask, you was my top artist, you was my number 2, you was my number 4, number 1, or whatever. And I look at everybody's thing, and I mean, it's got Drake on there, it's got Pleasure P and all these people. I say, oh, look, so y'all okay. So it's really just a fact, people listen to what they listen to. Their relationship with God is their relationship. I just knew that a lot of times when women or Christians are going through things, a lot of times we don't talk about Christians dealing with breakups or Christians dealing with divorce. The church is encouraging us to find our good thing and get married and love. But what about when it goes left? What do we do then? Like, who do we look to? Are we trying to bust the windows out the car like Jasmine told us to do, or are we trying to flatten tires like the city girls say to do? Who do we listen to? And there wasn't an outlet, I thought. And so Church Girls Love R&B was a series that God gave me to help Christians through heartbreak. When we having heartbreak, we go straight to R&B music because R&B is talking about what we're dealing with. And I wanted to make the R&B sound, of course, but with the message and give them also some tools because I learned a lot. Man, my wife went through a lot. And I said we started off as friends, but then when we got together, I had some things I had to work on, and some things that she worked on, and so some of that story, if you listen to those albums, man, some of those stories are real, and so it was really a blessing that people really listened to the project. And when they came out on tour, it was couples out, it was girls night out, it was couples night out, it was all kind of nights out on the tour, and people were coming up to me and telling me how it has really blessed them. It was this one lady who went through a divorce, and she was like, this project saved my life. I didn't think I even wanted to be married again. And I'm so grateful for, Church Girls Love R&B, believe it or not, man. And we were in city wineries, and folk was having a good time, and And believe it or not, the Holy Spirit was in the place, man. And it was a blessing. And so Church Girls Love R&B is something that I think that is going to be around for a long time. And it's timeless. The message is timeless because there aren't many outlets for us as Christians, man, when we're going through things.
You're right about that. Listen, I love the project. First of all,
Thank
I
you.
love everything you do. You're welcome.
Thank you so
But this
much.
right here, this thing is fire.
Thank you. Thank
It's
you.
fire. I mean, from 1K Few, Portia Love, Wande,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
name it, Natasha Mosley. I mean, you got
Yeah.
Niecy Armstrong. I mean,
Yeah.
this is absolutely ridiculous. I mean,
Thank
did
you.
you have everybody in mind when you started writing, or
I
like,
did. I
wow,
did. It's so funny because now the deluxe version of this is just the music. There aren't any skits in between. I kind of wanted people to really focus on just the music on this one. But if you want to hear the skits, they own all of the EPs of all of those songs, all of those projects. But yeah, I did. I saw something that, and let's say for Portia Love and Wande, I saw them working together. I loved their sisterhood, how they was killing it. I was like, oh, I got to do something with them. You know, they didn't even reach out to me. I reached out to them. I'm like, hey, I love what y'all doing. Can I get one with y'all, man? I think it'll be very impactful. You know,
love
and
it.
so, yeah, that worked out. Of course, 1K Few, I feel like sometimes I can't even do a project. For the last probably 3 to 4 projects, he's been a part in some way, or
Wow.
even if it's writing with me or whatever. That's my brother for life. So shout out to him. I had to do a record with him. I have Niecy Armstrong on there, so that's my wife.
Come on.
She's on the record, which is entitled Touch, which is a song I thought was so special. And I didn't even think about her for the record. She heard me playing it and recording it, and she waited until I was completely finished with the song, and she said, "That's a beautiful song." She was like, "I think this will be the one that we need to do together." I said, "You know
Oh,
what? You right." Yeah. So I put her on there, man, and I mean, it's a match made in heaven. It's probably my favorite song on the project, and I'm not just saying that because that's the wifey. But it's probably my favorite song because she sang that song and performed that song in the studio while she was pregnant. She was about 8 months pregnant. And
oh.
all I could think about was that great moment. And also she cried in there. She said I was too hard on her. So she cried that day. Let me tell you something, man. You put your wife in the studio, oh my
Yeah, can
God, it's gonna be a fight. Oh my God. She was crying. She was like, "You don't have to say it to me like that." I was like, "Baby, I'm just trying to get you this. Trying to get you." So shout out to Niecy Armstrong. That's right, my wife. She made the record. But yeah, I thought about everybody. Everybody that's on here, it was intentional. It really was.
That's good stuff, man.
Yeah.
Oh,
So what's next before we get you out of here, man? Because I
Right.
know you got to be doing
Man,
something this summer.
right,
You
right.
outside?
Hey.
What's up?
Hey man, I got some stuff coming up. You guys, I got a YouTube show that's coming out.
Okay.
I'm not gonna give up too much of it, but I can just say it's a YouTube show. It'll be out in the next month or so. I'm definitely hitting the road this summer. And also new music, man. New music. I'm always into that. It's so funny because you know how artists are. The music that you guys are hearing is about 6 months older than me. So I'm already on to the next thing. And a lot of artists don't really tell that. That's a little artist secret right there. But I'm already moving on, man. I'm on to the next stuff, and I'm excited, man. I love the response that everybody's been giving, and I just thank everybody for supporting me always, man. Especially you guys. You know, y'all really understand the culture. Y'all understand the streets. Y'all understand our audience, and more power to you guys, man. I pray that you guys keep this going and y'all stay lit, bro. Holy culture for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Listen, I'm gonna put this in your spirit, and I'm gonna put it in all 3 of y'all spirits.
Talk
But
to
you
me.
know, I was thinking about we don't have a LSG in our space or a something like that. So I was just thinking, I was just daydreaming about a K-Joe, Jor'Dan Armstrong, and Stevie Rizzo situation. I was just
Okay, and Stevie
daydreaming
too.
about Yeah. I was just daydreaming about, Christian R&B going to the next level. So just give me my creds if y'all do it. And listen, y'all hear it on wax right now.
Listen, check this
K-Joe,
out.
Jor'Dan, Armstrong, Stevie Rizzo. What? Y'all all in the same city. What? This is light work. This is light work.
Hey, them my brothers too, man. Stevie for sure. Shout out to Stevie, a young boy killing it, man. He's really turning up with it. And of course, K-Joe, the OG. That's just, we could at least start with a song. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm definitely down to do that. Hey, and listen, if we do it, man, we're coming to you first. You'll be the first one we come and talk to. Straight up.
There we go.
Straight up.
I appreciate
Straight
that.
Up.
Hey, you always welcome, Jor'Dan, man. Come on and tell the people, man, how to connect with you, follow you on all your social media platforms, and introduce whatever banger you want us to play for you.
Hey, yes. So, Jor'Dan Armstrong here. If you're trying to reach me, or if you're on social media, it's Where's Jor'Dan? That's WHERESJOR_DAN, and that's across all of the platforms. And if you also would like to book me or have me come to your city or your church, you can hit up Jor'DanArmstrongmusic.com and hit that booking tab. I would love to come and see y'all. And, I just want to encourage everybody, man. Pick your circle. Make sure your circle is solid, man. Have people around you that believe in you sometimes more than you believe in yourself, man, and you will always succeed, and keep God first. So I love y'all, man. Thanks for having me.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for stopping by, man.
Keep it locked. You tuned into the Fixx.
And the Fixx is in.